Hello, so I wanted to do a review on these three projectors. The only reason why I have three is because I was in the market for a projector, didn't know which one to go for. There's a lot of different information out there and I didn't quite know what I was looking for. This is only going to be used for like bedroom use, just chilling, watching Netflix, nothing crazy, not going to be gaming on it or anything like that. So I thought I'm better off just buying three. I can just return two and see how we get on. So for anyone that's in my predicament, this is a video for you. I bought these all from Amazon and I will show the prices on screen now. Okay, so here we have the Aurzen EAZZE D1 Pro. I actually made a mistake buying this. I was supposed to buy the TopTro X7, and because of the similar style and I was buying multiple projectors at once, I accidentally bought this one. But that's not a worry because I think this one came in at 150. So let's take a look. So we can see it's got auto adjustment. It's 350 lumens. 2x10 watt speakers, which are Dolby, native 1080p. It's got 4K support. Yeah, let's take a look inside the box. So this is everything that comes inside the box. Firstly, we'll start off with the manual pack. So we have a nice little cardboard container that keeps everything together. And inside that, we've got the user manual. We have the warranty card, the DBX user guide, FAQs, and that's it. So that's them done. And we've also got the UK power supply, which is a regular power supply. I'm not too sure what the dimensions of this bit is, but yeah, nice. It would have been nicer to have a longer cable, but it's, you know, get what you're given, I guess. Plus the kettle lead is easily replaced for a longer one. You've got your cleaning kit. I don't want to take this out of the package because there is a chance that I might return this. We've got the HDMI cable. Again, would have been nice to see a little bit of a longer cable provided, but that's okay. Nice looking remote with nice little hotkeys. That's quite nice. I think this takes two AAA batteries. In the instruction manual, it comes with instructions on how to pair this to the projector. And finally, the projector. So, like I said, this is it's quite a nice size. It's not too big and it's not tiny to the point where you're doubting its capabilities. It's got a nice little dust cover there and the lens is quite deep inside. As you can see how deep the lens cover goes. It's not the most snuggest fit, but once it's in there it should stay in. Yeah, so that's nice to see that they've got nice fitting lens cover. And on the underside we have two little clips that we can take off, and I'm pretty sure this is for filter replacement. These are the two fans that are on the back, and on the side we have speakers. So I would like to assume these are for changing the filter, but I am not sure as of yet. I'll put that back in a minute. And here we have the 1/4 inch screw, which is the 3.5mm, pretty standard on every tripod I've ever seen. Speaker on that side as well. So here we've got headphones, AV, USB 1 to HDMI, and the power in. So this is the Boom 3 made by Aurzen. Not a clue how to pronounce that name. Yeah, so some of the features it's got is auto adjustment, apparently high brightness, good sound, and it's got licensed apps. The ones that are on here is Netflix, Prime, YouTube, and apparently has Dolby speakers. We'll see about how good they are. It is a 1080p projector, and I hate that they word it like this, but it can support 4K video. I don't know why this is a thing with projectors. If it's a 1080p projector, tell me it's 1080p. Stop just putting 4K everywhere, which actually on this box I can't see that, which is good. But all over Amazon, all over eBay, everywhere, all of these are marketed as 4K projectors, and they're not. They're just the 1080p. 4K projectors are actually really expensive. These ones, I think this is about £350, but it occasionally goes down to about 250-ish. So yeah, let's unbox this and see how we get on. Okay, so this is what we're presented with when we take everything out of the box. We have the user manual, we have the FAQs, we've got a little quick start guide if you don't want to go in depth into the user manual, and finally we have the warranty card. After that we have the remote, which has got some nice little shortcuts for Netflix, YouTube and Prime. It's kind of like a Amazon Fire Stick remote. In fact, it's very similar to the Fire Stick remote. So that's that. We have a HDMI cable, and finally we have a figure of 8 power cable. I'm a little bit disappointed by this because I can tell without unraveling this that it's quite a short cable, and for some use cases maybe that's fine, but for me, I know for a fact I'm going to have to buy a longer figure of 8 to use this one, so we'll see about that. One thing that I have noted is there's no lens cover with this, so I know for a fact that the EAZZE D1 Pro from this brand again comes with a lens cover. This one doesn't. I've never owned a projector before, so I don't know if I'm supposed to be putting a lens cover on every time that I'm not using it. So I don't know, we'll see how we get on with that. We have the dial at the top, which is for volume and maybe other things to control it, I'm not entirely sure. On the back we've got HDMI 1 and 2, we've got the USBs, we've got headphone and power, and then we actually have a physical power button. And finally on the bottom we've got the 3.5mm screw hole, and that allows us to put the projector onto a tripod or base. So one of the reasons why I was curious about this one is because on the back you can remove the shroud and it reveals these speakers. Between them you've got 36 watts of power, and it's supposed to be quite loud, so we'll do a little sound test and see how that performs. Okay, and let's move on to the TopTro. So this is the X7 projector, autofocus, keystone, supports 4K, hi-fi sound. Yeah, let's get into it, let's unbox it. Okay, so that's everything in the box. We've got the quick start guide, we have the warranty card, and we also have the thank you thing that's also got the FAQs on the back. So that's that. We've got the remote, which is a little bit basic, unbelievably light. So yeah, that's that. We've got the RCA adapter, I'm sure this is called RCA, which worries me a little bit because it's a bit old technology, but that's okay. I'm sure some people are happy that that's supported. And then we've got the HDMI cable and the power cable. A little bit longer than the last one, I think, but I still think it's going to be a little bit too short for some people, but we'll see. And last but not least is the actual projector itself. So we have a lens cap, unlike the last one that we just looked at. And I'm assuming this is for the projector to be able to see how far the wall is and things like that, I think. Yeah, so we have a button on top, which is probably just for turning it on. And on the back, we've got the RJ45 port, 2 USBs, 2 HDMIs, AV headphones, and the infrared sensor for the remote. We have the power slot on the back. That's it. Speakers on the side. Speakers on the front. Probably fans on the side, actually. Yeah, fans on the side, speaker on the front. Okay, so not the most ideal setup, I'm aware, but this is where I'm going to have them, or have one of them at least. So we're going to have the projector up there, and here's the headboard. So ideally it would be on that wall, and things happen, whatever, I'm going to have it up there. And these are the specs of this particular projector, which is the TopTro X7. I can't say I'm very impressed. 1 gig memory, 8 gig internal, whatever for the internal. But Android 9 in 2015 then, in 2025, that's wild. Also, upon turning this on and connecting to the internet, there is no more updates, which is crazy, like actually wild that there's no updates. This is all the information. Yeah, do with that what you'd like. With my short time with this particular projector, I've got to say the setup is not intuitive at all. Was a bit of a headache. The keystoning to manually do it, you had to change an option to do it at the 4 points, which most projectors do. This one wanted it to do it in a really weird way. Yeah, I've not enjoyed this projector at all. Everything seems a bit slow. The remote is unbelievably light and cheap feeling. I don't think this is the one. Nothing looks unbelievably clear, and we will do a quick video and sound test now. Okay, so this is in absolute pitch black. If the projector was off right now, you wouldn't be able to see anything in the room. The pitch quality is awful, absolutely awful. And when I turn on so I've took off the lampshade here. If I turn that on, we'll be able to see the difference. It does look better to me in person than I can see the camera is picking up, but it's watchable. It's watchable in a lighter environment, and when I turn it off, it becomes much more watchable. The oranges look actual orange, the yellows look yellow instead of white. But yeah, the pitch quality is bad, but not as bad as what the speakers are, and that's the TopTro X7. And this is being sent back first. I actually can't believe they're selling this in 2025. It's running on Android 9 with 1 gig RAM, and all in all, it's an awful projector. The only benefit that this projector has over the other two is if you go into apps, we can see that this is running on Google. This is the only pro for this projector. It's running on Google, so therefore you can get all of the apps such as Disney Plus and BBC iPlayer. The other two, I've not quite looked into this just yet, but the other two, I think they run on some sort of operating system. Well, it's an Android operating system, but it runs on some sort of Play Store where you can't download, Disney Plus and all your typical ITV, BBC, iPlayer. You can't download them, so I imagine that you will have to sideload or potentially use just a Fire Stick, which is fine. I plan to buy a Fire Stick for whatever projector that I ended up with, but the sound quality on this, I beg nobody buys this. It's horrendous. This is the TopTro X7. Just one last gripe about the X7. Its remote is, like I said, it's the cheapest remote. I've took the back off, but it's the cheapest remote I've felt in a long time, and this should give you some indication of why it's so bad. If I press the OK button, it wants to mash every other button around it. If you listen. The amount of times that I've gone to press up, and I'm pretty sure I'm pressing 3 buttons if I push hard enough. Literally the worst experience I've ever had with any products recently, actually. It's been the biggest letdown. This is the Aurzen EAZZE D1 Pro, and I've currently got the projector set up more towards this side, so on the right hand side the quality is a little bit less, but if I quickly show you there, the center would be probably around about here-ish, so it is slightly over to the right, obviously the left hand side. When we turn around, I'll show you the quality leakage, what I mean, in a minute. So this is the home screen. We can see we've got Netflix, YouTube, Plex, and Prime. Unfortunately, this isn't a Google operating system. So when we go into, if we want to go to the App Store, you're not going to go to Google Play Store or anything like that. So let's take a quick look at this. One of the main things that you are going to struggle with this is you won't be able to download things like Disney Plus or ITV or BBC iPlayer. Anything like that you're not going to be able to get. Obviously you've got TikTok there, which some people might want to watch. At the top you've got your different categories. So you've got live TV, you've got kids, you've got sports, music. Like I said, the quality leakage is quite evident in some cases. So for example, like you can see tempting over here is a little bit blurry, but as we bring it more into the middle, we can see that it's okay. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely better than what it was. So yeah, over to the right hand side, if you've not got it positioned absolutely bang on straight, then you probably are going to suffer with some quality issues on the side that's the furthest away. But yeah, so to get around this, what you'll want to do is get yourself a Fire Stick. They're not mad expensive. I think like one of the best ones right now is £70, but currently Amazon have got it on deal for got it on offer for like £45. So you can find them a little bit cheaper and they're not expensive. So if we come out of this, let's take a quick look at the settings. So the settings on this, the setup was quite intuitive. It was very straightforward. Took you through all the important stuff. We can see for projection modes, you know, you've got ceiling mounted, you've got behind a screen mounted, and you've got mounted on the ground, mounted above. It's all there for you to choose from. If we come out of this, we've got keystoning. You've got a few different options here. You know, after boot, you want to correct every time. And for manual, you would do it like this. So it's currently saying in the top right, 'cause it's got a little circle there. So I can manually go over and change that to what I want. And you can do that for all four corners. So it's a very easy thing to set up for your keystone. Zoom, again, that's just in and out. I've kept it at 100. Focus, it's quite a nice little focus thing that they've got. You've got a little bit of text in each corner, not at the tops though, which, you know, could be a little bit better, but dead easy to get it in focus. And into the about, unfortunately this doesn't tell me any information for how much storage it's got or how much RAM it's got or even what operating system it's running on. We can see it's the Eazze D1 Pro. The device temperature is a nice touch, but if we go into the version, it doesn't give us anything that we recognize as an operating system, so that's a bit unfortunate. But you know, moving everything around, it all works properly. When you're using the keyboard, it's fast, it's snappy, so absolutely no issues there. So let's move on to, I'll take us onto YouTube to Crab Rave and we can take a look at the quality there. I've chosen Crab Rave for the video as it shows a lot of greenery, it shows a lot of orange. There's a lot going on and there's a nice little diverse of colours. What I'll do is I'll turn on the bedroom lamp, which I've took the lampshade off of, which is gonna chill out, which is gonna light up the room. It's not mega bright, but it's, you know, if these blinds were down and it was beaming sun outside, this is the kind of environment that I'd be expecting the room to be in. So I'll turn that off for now. I've got the volume on 30 out of 100. I've noticed that after 40, everything in between 40 and 100 is just numbers on a screen. Nothing changes volume wise or bass or anything like that. It's pointless after 40. So I've stuck it at 30, which is a fairly loud setting. I'd quite happily watch a film with this on, but if I was listening to music, I feel like on some songs you'd be able to tell a lack of bass. But it's a decent sound system, and yeah, I'll show up and let you listen and watch. Okay, so it's a good sound system. I appreciate the sounds that it produces. Like I said, it does lack in the bass department a little bit, and the image quality, it's better than the X7, but it's not crisp, especially in this section here. If I'll have to go back a little touch. Let me turn this down a little bit. So in this section, you can really tell in the greenery. Let me come a little bit closer. The quality it's just not crisp. It's not crisp at all. I've already done a little test on the Boom 3, and I will show you what the quality looks like in comparison on that little section there, and hopefully you'll be able to tell the difference. I'll quickly turn the light on now so you can see the difference there. So yeah, there we go. And obviously it's a projector in darker environments. It thrives in lighter environments. That's when you can really notice a difference. I would personally not choose to watch a film or really any content on this projector in a lighting environment such as this. It's very washed out, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the end of the review for this one. And let's move over to the Boom 3. This is the Aurzen Boom 3, and I've tried to get it set up roughly the same as the previous two. So it's up in the corner there, and it's projecting to roughly the same spot on the wall. We'll be testing in light environment as well as dark environments. So let's get into it. So this is the home screen, and again, this one is running on not a Google system, so you don't have access to Play Store. Instead, you've got access to this App Store. So if you do want to download Disney Plus or Spotify or ITV Player, you won't be able to do it. So it's another Fire Stick jobby, unfortunately. But for me, personally, that's fine. I had always intended to use a Fire Stick. But if you do want to just use it for Netflix, YouTube, Prime, or Plex, then that's absolutely fine. The system can handle it. But I'm going to be using a Fire Stick for myself. If we go into the settings, we can see what specs that it's got. So if we go into system information, we can see that it's got 1 gig RAM and 8 gig storage space, which has baffled me a little bit because the X7 has 1 gig RAM. The storage space doesn't matter, but it's more the RAM. Obviously, I think the X7 is using an older processor. I thought it was the RAM, but it must be the processor, because moving around this system is much more fluent. So there's that, I guess. The software update, I did have to do an update, and it is obviously now up to date. That's it. Other than that, we've got your keystone, you've got the zoom, and you've got the focus, all that can be quickly accessed on the remote with the button here. So we'd press settings, and it gives a little pop-up at the bottom to quickly do anything, whilst you're watching a film or anything like that. Speaking of which, let's quickly hop onto YouTube and we'll get Crab Rave going. And we are back to Crab Rave. I'm sure you're all glad to be back here. One of the things that I did forget to mention is the screen quality on the right hand side, just like on the D1 Pro. This one is a little bit more crisp. It has a small amount of leakage on the right hand side, but it's absolutely minor in comparison to the D1 Pro. So I just thought I'd point that out because I forgot to say it in the last video. Yeah, so I've currently got it up at around about 50% on the speakers. There we go, about 50%. And these speakers are incredible, absolutely incredible compared to the D1 Pro and of course the X7. So yeah, let's press play and I'll let you watch and listen. that base is incredible for being built into a projector. I'm actually gobsmacked by it. It's crazy. I'm gonna rewind it back to where we were before, around about here, and I will turn the light on and off so you can see the difference in, you know, kind of daylight lighting coming through the blinds and almost pitch black like we are now. So I'll quickly do that now. I'll also just quickly move the camera in just so you can see the quality difference on these trees. There we go. I'll just quickly turn this all the way up to the max because it's unbelievable. Okay, I'm not actually looking to piss off my neighbours, but yeah, so that is the Boom 3. I'm unsure if you're going to be able to tell on the video for the sound and also the picture quality, but for me personally, I would more than happily watch a film on this projector, and I would also more than happily just listen to music on this projector. Obviously, it's not really what projectors are built for, you know, listening to Spotify or whatever, but I'm so impressed with the speakers on this. It's wild, and I'm not a very experienced, you know, projector user. These are the first ones that I've ever bought, but in comparison to the first two, the X7 and the D1 Pro, the Boom 3 is by far the winner in both picture quality and also sound quality. So one handy detail about the Boom 3 is the shroud that covers the back speakers. I've used that as a little stand to angle downwards, so that's a nice little thing. Don't worry about the wires, not everything's set up just yet, but yeah, this is the one I'm keeping, and the speakers look as cool as what it sounds. So yeah, I'm very impressed. And that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this has cleared some things up for projectors that you're currently looking at, maybe one of these three. It's a bit of a weird market. I don't like it, and there's not really too much information out there. There's lots of information out there on, you know, all the big leagues such as Sony and Epson, but for these ones I struggled, or at least I struggled to find modern ones, you know, being cross-referenced with, you know, other projectors that I was also looking at. So hopefully this helps. So as we know, these two run on Android. I'm not too sure which Android version that they're running. However, this one is running on Android 9. This is the X7. It's unbelievably slow. I hated everything about it. The setup wasn't intuitive. The whole entire operating system was slow. YouTube was slow to use. It was running on Android 9. The only pro about this one against these two is the fact that this one runs on Google, on like a Google Play Store compatibility, whereas these two don't. That means that this one can get apps such as like BBC iPlayer, ITV, you know, Disney Plus, you know, all the regular apps that you would want. However, these two run on a Play Store called Net Range, which means that you can't download ITV, iPlayer, Channel 4, Spotify, you know, Disney Plus. You can't get all of them particular apps. For me, it's not a deal breaker. I'm going to go with the Boom 3. I'm just going to stick a Fire Stick into the back of it, and, you know, jobs are good, and I'm happy with that. The only one last note that I will say is I'm in the selling game myself. I have a warehouse. I buy and sell lots of things. And one thing that's really annoying is that if you are going to buy more than one thing to then send two back, or however it is that you're doing it, just wrap your cables up. Wrap your cables up, and you know, with each product, have all of the things that you've got out of the box and putting them back in. It takes nothing out of your day, and for when you send it back for a refund, it stops any sort of hiccups of, you know, is the seller going to give you a partial refund or anything like that. Just a little side note for you guys. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope that this has been of some use to some people. Thank you.